Hello everybody and welcome back. Today's bullet journal video is going to be my setup for February. So I hope that you guys are ready to set up your bullet journals as well, or use this as some inspiration for the next monthly setup. I'm super excited to say that this month's theme is going to be based on Howl's Moving Castle, a Studio Ghibli movie. And one of you guys had recommended that I take a look at this film, and as soon as I was watching it and saw this castle come onto screen, I knew that it had to be the front page of February. So it's such a intricate and interesting doodle or drawing to really do, because there's just so many parts to it, and it's almost like steampunk, and it just was really cool. So I really enjoyed the film, and the way that I set this page up was by using I first drew it with just a regular mechanical pencil, and then going back through, I used a fine liner. Now, I did not use one of the Faber-Castell fine liners because I needed something that had a smaller point. So I believe this was like a 0.1 size nib. And so the only one that I have for that size is the Uniball fine liner, and it worked perfectly. I know whenever you're doing these drawings, sometimes I worry about my hand smudging some of it, and I didn't have any issues with that, especially with there being so many detail lines. Everything came out really crisp and clear. So I really do like the fine liners for this type of work where you're doing something that's really quite detailed. Some of you may be hoping that the next step is for me to color this in, and I decided against that because I didn't want to lose any of the detail or the intricacy associated with this drawing, and so I just left it with the ink. Now, the other thing that I did was leave the title February very plain as well, just because I didn't want any sort of script taking away from the actual drawing itself. This next page is my monthly layout, and I decided to put Turnip Head on this page, and I thought he would look pretty cool. I did decide to color him in just because I felt like that would give him a little bit more life, and after the pin drawing on the first page, I just felt like we needed some color on this monthly spread. Using the Tombow dual brush pens and going over the areas with varying number of strokes gave this guy a little bit more life and provided some shadows to also provide a little bit more life to his clothing. And I was pretty excited about how his hand actually turned out, because I redrew it like probably 10 or 15 times because I'm not great at drawing hands, and so I was pretty excited how that ended up. But I do think that another way, if you're looking for different sort of stroke lengths, or not lengths, but sort of depth to your drawings, one of the other things that I did was dip my Tombow dual brush pen in some water, and that did dilute it out. So if you're really going for a diluted color, then using some water will help that. Now, I don't recommend doing that pretty consistently with your pens, just because I'm not sure that it's good for the ink, but for a short drawing like this, then that's one way, or just using a lighter color is another way if you're worried about dipping your pen into any water. So the rest of this monthly layout is pretty simple. I wanted Turnip Head to be the primary focus of this page, and I felt like if I put a lot more color and drawings and doodles on this page, then it would kind of take away from how cool he looks. So the other thing that allowed me to have this guy as a nice big drawing on my monthly layout was the fact that I removed that sort of monthly to-do list and savings list that I usually have, which I've put into more of a larger spread for the whole year for that part. So this next page is my habit tracker, and I am doing it in a very similar fashion as to last month's habit tracker, except that I have condensed them down. So whereas the previous habit tracker took up the entire page because I was spacing between all of them, this one is actually only taking up half the page. And the primary reason that I did that this time is because I wanted to have a little bit more drawing room and doodling room, which I don't think I would have had with the previous spread the way that it was. Now, another reason that this type of habit tracker might appeal to you would be if you are tracking more than a few habits. So if you are tracking 10, 12, even more than that, then the previous habit tracker spread was going to be really difficult to fit that on 1 or even 2 pages. So this would be a great way if you are one of those people that are tracking so many different things, then this might work a lot better for you to cover all of those things that you want to track, but not take up multiple pages of your bullet journal or time just making all of those pages. So the next thing that I wanted to put on this page was just some more doodles from the movie, and the first one is just the basket with the eggs and the meal, and then also the little frying pan, and then I wanted to put Calcifer in there, and then Sophie's hat on a hat stand is the last thing. The next page that I'm doing is going to be really simple. I thought there would be a lot going on the habit tracker, and I like to keep my sleep tracker fairly simple. So I decided to go ahead and just do the same layout as last time, and then for my small, very little doodle here, I wanted to put in some of the feathers to be associated with Howl. The next page that I'm doing is my recipe and meal tracker, and you guys know that I tend to keep this page fairly simple because I do a lot of writing on this page. However, I thought this would be the best moment and best place to do a really fun drawing of Calcifer, who was one of my favorite characters in the movie. And using my Tombow Dull brush pens, I went in and colored him in and then outlined him with the Papermate Flare in a medium tip. And I've really enjoyed using these Papermate Flare medium tips, but I would, if you are going to be doing any coloring, make sure that you color first and then outline, because otherwise those guys are totally going to bleed everywhere. And then last but not least, doing my brain dump page, because you guys know that I always tend to leave that blank so that I can doodle or do whatever I need to have that page covered. So the last thing we're going to do is flip all the way to the beginning and just do a flip through of the bullet journal. I wanted you guys to know that I'm still using my little stickers to cover the pages just so that I know it's an easy way to flip back through. And then going through my Calendex here, you guys can see I've already started to put some things into that Calendex for my future log. The grid layout, my January cover page with Totoro, then I've got my monthly layout with Totoro down there at the bottom and some soot sprites, my habit tracker, which is going pretty good, my sleep tracker, which I've kept on top of, my meal plan. I need to get my recipe list because I haven't done as well with it. And then my January goals, you guys can see that rather than drawing everything in, I've just decided to do a list across them, and I've still got room to go for goals as I go throughout the year. My budget setup, if you guys haven't checked out my financial spread, then you guys can take a look at how I set all of this up, and starting with the automobile that I'm trying to pay down, and then we've got our bill tracker, which I'm already doing, my savings tracker, which I added in numbers to that one, so that might be new for you guys. My savings tracker goal, which I still have to fill everything in there, the reading list and my national park list, and then we've got our household chore as an annual list to kind of refer back to on days when I have some free time. Cosmo's health tracker page, which I'm pretty excited about this page, and I hope that you guys really like it as well. And then going to, so far, my favorite monthly layout with the title page being House Moving Castle. And I really appreciate all of you guys commenting and watching the videos here. I'm excited to see where this whole year goes, and keep the comments coming about movies that you would like to see me do as a monthly layout. And as always, enjoy bullet journaling, like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you guys want to see some more videos, and have a wonderful day, guys. Thanks.